It is July 12th, 3:43 a.m. I'm probably going to make this one a little quick. There's a lot that happened today, and probably going to skip over the topic again, and also because it's so late and I want to get to bed and all that. Common theme. You know how it is if you've been watching these videos. Okay, what happened today? First of all, in terms of work on the game, let me set up this stand a little bit better here. In terms of work on the game, I fixed up a few things. So in yesterday's video, I mentioned some stuff with the precision. I wanted to make the precision a little more forgiving in the game because for the fast pace of the game, it could sometimes be hard to tell whether you screwed up or whether the game screwed up. The game never screws up. It's always correct, but it can look like, kind of ambiguous. So anyway, I pushed an update to Steam for the demo to fix up a few things. One of them was the expanding of the precision. Another one was the Girameki technique, the special ability you have in the game. There's a thing where to get out of a room, the doors lock behind you when you get into a room, and to get out, you have to kill all the enemies. But when you do the Girameki technique, it's supposed to clear all the enemies, but just for cool visual reasons, there's like a little delay between when the technique ends and when the enemies die. So there's this brief moment where you're just stuck in the room and there's nothing for you to do before you can leave. You have to wait for them all to get killed. So I fixed it so that as soon as the technique ends, you can immediately leave the room and the doors unlock. That was another thing. Why did I push this update? Hold on. I feel like there was something more. Oh, right. There was a bug as well. There was some little piece of leftover code that made it so that pretty much okay. So normally the way that aiming works when you throw your projectile is you just aim in the general direction of an enemy. You throw the projectile and it will hone in on him. So it doesn't require too much precision. And because of some leftover feature, if it detects that you're not aiming in any general enemy direction, so you're going to miss, it'll instead look at the direction you're facing and then pick an enemy that way instead, which is not really my intention because that makes it so that you don't need to be aiming at all, essentially. Anyway, the bigger point is this caused what's I guess kind of like a bug because there's an achievement in the game where in the tutorial level when you first learn how to throw them, it's possible for you to intentionally miss all your throws, and I made that a secret achievement in the game. So that's just a fun little joke because you get like a unique interaction with Genyu when that happens too. So you couldn't do that. It was impossible because your guy's always facing in the direction of the enemy. So even if you aimed away, he would still auto lock onto them. So I wanted to fix that. So that was the main reason I pushed out the update. It was for one guy who messaged me about it on TikTok. Speaking of which, social media, TikTok. So I had a video blow up yesterday. Not super crazy, but it's like 30,000 views now and it's still climbing. Got like 150 new followers from it. And yeah, it's doing really well. And it was pretty funny experience because that came from, I believe last night in the video, I mentioned how on Twitter, everyone was talking about Ghost of Yotei, this other game, Japanese samurai game coming out, announcing that they were going to have a Samurai Champloo style mode in the game. And how I could see in all these threads just how many people are out there who are pining for a game like this. And so, and so it was just kind of frustrating to see like my entire market audience just dangled in front of me like that I have been working so hard for the past year and a half to try to reach with all my marketing attempts, right? So in the spur of the moment, kind of like how I was mentioning it on here, I just picked up my phone and realized like, oh, this might be a funny little like TikTok video to quickly make where I'll just be like, look at this, look at all these people, look at my game, please look at my game. So I made a video like that, not even thinking too much of it, because all my videos on TikTok, dude, like the absolute best one I've had so far, which I posted months and months ago, and it was just a edited clip of some stuff I was working on in the game, was 9,000 views. That was the absolute best. So it's like everything I throw out there, I don't know, it does okay. And So similar to how here I've been kind of taking on a more leisurely, like, you know what, I'm just going to post whatever I want and stop overthinking it and caring about it. I thought that I would start doing the same thing on TikTok. And that's a platform where you can especially do that, where that's almost the point, right? Like, you just pump out whatever the hell you want. Um, so in that vein, I went ahead and made that video, and unexpectedly I wake up this morning and it had like 500 likes on it and all these people following and tons of comments. And the really funny thing is much of the attention seemed to come from how much I pissed people off with it, because in the video I'm like begging people, please look at my game, look at this shit, look at all these people who want Samurai Champloo style game, but I never say the name of my game and I never show footage from it, like nothing. So the only way to find out about it is to click my profile, which is not a big deal. You literally push one button, but you know, TikTok, right? Fucking brain rotted ADHD kids. so even the slightest bit of friction and they're like, you piece of shit, right? So literally half the comments, and definitely the ones that are like the most liked, is everyone just being like, oh, how could you not like show footage? Way to not show footage of your game. Like, you think I'm gonna click on your profile now? No, I'm not gonna click on your profile. It's like all these people so fucking mad that I didn't say the name of the game or anything. But the great irony of it, and this is what was really interesting to me, is that for every one of those people who are taking the time, and this is the funniest thing too, right, is these guys are literally writing like paragraphs of being pissed off at me for this, when it would have taken them like less time to just click my profile. But for every one of those guys who's like fucking typing all those comments out to me, there was 3 people who were going into my profile and looking at the other videos and starting to follow me. So it was kind of funny to me. There was a lot of different perspectives it gave me. Like, one new fresh perspective was how typically when I make some kind of video that I put out there, and let's say it gets no views, but I get one comment and the only comment is something negative, that annoys me a lot more and can get to me a little bit, compared to what happened with this video, where I was getting tons of people just like talking shit to me, and it didn't bother me at all. Like, maybe a little bit, but not really. I was just kind of laughing about the fact that every one of these comments is just pushing my video out further and further, and none of these guys can see it because they're also busy talking so much shit. They don't see from my end how this has actually been like by far my most successful video. Like, literally, you could probably take like 50 of my videos I posted on TikTok and combined maybe they did as well as this one did, right? So yeah, and in terms of follower accounts, in terms of people actually going and wishlisting, like everything, by far the most successful. And then not only that, but I'm also thinking, if these guys, the ones who are complaining, are so lazy they won't even just push one button to go to my profile and see the name of the game or look at a video, well, they're not going to go and wishlist my game anyway, right? Because that takes way more effort. So really, I'm kind of filtering out the people who are like that, who are just going to scroll by anyway, and I'm getting the wish list from the people who actually care and who are now going to follow me. And yeah, and then I don't know, and then just like the fact that they're also constantly making my video more and more popular at the same time. And yeah, I don't know, it was all pretty funny. And then also, sorry, this was the other thing I was just thinking about. And then also the fact that the irony in that if I hadn't done the video the way I did, or like if I showed my game in the video, they wouldn't have commented on it, right? Because they would just see the game and maybe they are, maybe they aren't interested, and they probably would have swiped by or whatever. But the point is most of them wouldn't have commented, which means the video probably wouldn't have been as popular if I had actually showed the game, because a big part of what made it popular apparently is how much it pissed these people off. And then even better is I get comments from people saying things like, this guy, you really dropped the ball here, man. You missed an opportunity. You obviously don't understand how the platform works. People want things here to be as easy as possible. All this kind of like condescending lectures from all these people telling me how I did this wrong, whatever. And hey, you know what? To be fair, I'm not any kind of pro at TikTok or anything, by all means. I think I would be the first to admit I still have a lot to learn. Oh, it's a beautiful moon out tonight. I have a lot to learn when it comes to to social media marketing in general. But just the fact that they're also confidently being like, you dropped the ball here. You're like, nah, I didn't even put effort into this. And this is by far my most successful video. This has actually been a huge opportunity for me. And as far as I can tell, I'm pretty convinced that if I had actually included the title or my game name or footage of it or whatever, that it very well might not have done as well. So anyway, so it's been a pretty funny experience through the day, just seeing like constantly all the comments coming in and all that kind of stuff. Let's see, what else was I going to talk about? So then I went. Another thing I took advantage of was that I went on Twitter into the. I got a good 15, a good dozen, 2 dozen new followers on Twitter as well from posting about that stuff yesterday and trying to kind of ride the wave. I also, what I did now is I literally went into each of those threads and collected as many accounts as I could who have their private messages open, and day by day I'm going to go through like 10, 20 of them and just send personal messages to each one being like, hey, I saw you in this thread, check out my game. So a bit of a guerrilla marketing tactic there to see if I can get a little bit from direct messaging. I don't even think it's too inefficient. I feel like it could pay off if I even get like, I don't know, 50% conversion there or something. I don't know. So yeah, pretty fun stuff on TikTok. I made a response. I posted a couple of other videos on there as well. I did like a response. I went to the one that was the most liked comment that was about complaining about me not showing the game, and then I did a response video to that and just kind of poked a little fun at them for being so lazy. So yeah, anyway, pretty fun day, pretty interesting. I think I saw some videos immediately after that. I think TikTok has noticed that I'm pushing out so many videos so quickly all of a sudden, and I guess it just assumes that, oh, this guy wants to be a creator or something, because now nonstop my whole feed is videos on how to do a hook, how to do this, how to get more followers. So anyway, thanks to that, I feel like I got at least a couple interesting videos that I think put me in the right mindset of how I need to think differently about how I'm making my videos, and even just how this video did so well, looking at that and trying to analyze now, like, besides the fact that I triggered people, what else is it specifically about it that got people to watch the whole video, to hang in there, right? Because one of the main conclusions I've been able to draw so far is that watch time is actually probably the single most important metric. Like, I before was more fixated on likes, on comments, on engagement, things like that. But the more I'm getting more and more data to look at, and I'm really analyzing other people's profiles I see on TikTok too, especially the more successful people, and looking at the differences in their numbers and stuff like that, it very much looks like watch time is actually by far the biggest thing, which makes sense. And I guess in a way, if you focus on that and people are engaged enough that they even watch the whole thing, that naturally will lead to more engagement in other forms as well. I think that makes sense. So I'm going to try to really focus myself mentally when putting my videos together into thinking like, okay, is even a single second of this video boring right now? Is the intro something really different that snaps your attention? Is, you know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff, which seems kind of obvious now in hindsight, but I don't know, man. This is a skill like any other, and I definitely have a lot to learn. I feel like, you know what's interesting? When making the music for the game, I didn't know anything about producing music when I went into this. So, and I underestimated how much I would have to learn. And specifically when it came to mixing. So when I first started learning how to mix for the game, I sat down and spent literally a whole good, I want to say, couple weeks doing nothing but studying everything I could about the topic. I actually took courses, like 8-hour long courses on what a compressor is, how to use compression, all the different uses for it, equalization, reverb, all that kind of stuff. And then I spent a good week just practicing that, like making some stuff that I wasn't even going to use in the game, just to get used to using these tools and understanding in practice how to make use of all this theory I had now learned. So now that I think about it, I wonder if I need to do something like that for the marketing. Like just take, because in the end, that would be one of the biggest payoffs financially, right? Is if I can really nail it, if I can really get, like, own my craft in that sense, it might be very much worth taking a couple weeks off to do nothing but sit down and practice making the most engaging, interesting videos I can. You know what I mean? And really focusing on getting good at it and getting consistent, most importantly, getting consistent in it. Because I've had a couple videos that have done well, but I don't have the consistency yet. I go between like several thousand views and like 200 views, right? That happens to me all the time. So there's a consistency problem, and I think I've always felt that with my stuff. That, and partly the fact that I've always been in conflict with myself about just, I don't know, doing my own thing versus what actually makes for an engaging video. Like, especially early on, my first ever YouTube videos, how all my first videos were these really over-the-top comedy skits. And that was front and center in my videos, like nothing to do with my game. And then my game was kind of just thrown in there at the end. Yeah. Something worth considering. I might, I don't know. Now that I think about that might be something worth seriously considering. Maybe I don't have to take a couple weeks off. Maybe even if I just kind of chill out and, like, when I go to make these videos, don't be so concerned with just pumping them out, but maybe like sit down and just think more carefully about what I'm making. I don't know. One other thing I will say about it as well is I have noticed there is a certain, I keep getting these videos of people talking about the necessity for being authentic, of making stuff for yourself and so on. And there's definitely something to be said, and I don't know if that's what it is exactly, but there's definitely people who have a certain something where their videos pop up, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok, and you're just, and I really don't think it's just the editing or whatever. There's just like something about them, something about their mindset, something about the way they're speaking, something about the way they present themselves that immediately grabs your attention and makes you want to watch for longer. And I saw today something that was very interesting to me. Was a YouTube channel from a guy who was doing video game stuff. I don't know, like reviews of games and things like that. But he had like 200 subscribers, and I was curious about this because his videos looked kind of high effort. And I looked at one of his more popular videos. It was only 500 views. But the amount of effort that he put into this was honestly kind of crazy. This looked exactly like a professional production from like the early 2000s or the 90s that you would see on TV. You know, like, I forget, like G4 Tech TV, that used to be a channel back in the day, right? And they had, don't remember the names of the shows, but they had some TV shows back then that were for video game reviews, and it looked like that. He was standing in front of like a proper television green screen looking thing, being like, hey, I'm your host, such and such, whatever. It was legit like watching a TV show. But what really stuck out to me is how within seconds of listening to this guy, like literally 3 seconds, I had the impulse to click away and stop watching. I was like, this is boring. This guy sucks. Like right away. And that was what caught my attention. And I was like, but I'm looking at this whole thing and this is high effort shit. This guy put a lot of effort into this. And what is missing there? What is the element that he's missing that makes like all these other videos of similar production quality just grab you right away? There were some editing problems. It was a little slow in some parts, but the biggest thing to me was just his personality. He was too like rigid, too kind of nervous, too like just too boring to listen to. And I mean, I don't know if I have that problem. I like to think that I don't. I'm pretty expressive, but I feel like I have to learn to structure my energy, I guess. Because I think I have it in me. I think I have that aspect. In fact, the whole reason I ever started making the YouTube videos is specifically because I thought I know I'm kind of a weird guy. I have that kind of like odd personality, and I might be able to use my personality to sell my games. And that was my whole idea for starting the YouTube channel. Even though I had no idea what I was doing, I was like, I'm gonna sit in front of the camera and just like do whatever stupid shit comes to me and be my natural self. Um, and I think I have that element. I think it's there, but I really think I do have to master the art of structuring the videos intelligently in a way that maintains attention and that maybe makes sense. Because yeah, I don't know. People say like, and so much of this advice, this is the thing, this goes back to the video I made once where I said, this is why I don't take advice from people, because it's way more about your own practice and figuring it out on your own than listening to other people. Because even some generic but good sounding advice, like, yeah, just make it for yourself, make your art for yourself, don't care what other people think. Well, that's what I was doing with my first YouTube videos. Like my first 20 or so YouTube videos, which did terribly. They got like 200 views. To this day, I think they're the most fucking brilliant videos I made. I think I cry laughing when I watch those, and I loved making them. I loved making that shit so much, man. I almost thought like, bro, I should just be a YouTuber. I don't even care about making the game now. Like that's how much I was loving it when I made those first 10 videos or so. I had so many ideas popping into my head and crazy stuff I want to do, and I still get that. But now I'm so much more like all my crazy ideas though, I'm really skeptical based on my experiences now that has anything to do with selling the game. My best YouTube videos are the ones where I just literally sit there and talk about the game, and I almost completely minimize the parts that to me make it so fun to watch and so fun to make these videos, you know? So even something like that, people are like, you just gotta be yourself, make it for yourself. That's the best art. Like, like kind of, you know what I mean? And you see the problem? It's like, that's kind of correct advice. Yeah, you don't want to copy people. Yeah, you want to be authentic. You don't want to seem fake. You want to do your own thing, but there is a thing also where you have to like know how to frame your authenticity, know how to frame your style in a way that translates well to people, right? I mean, it's the reason why pretty much all writers have editors, because as great of a writer as you are, there might be things that you're just so biased on that your editor can see like, yeah, other people aren't gonna, I get what you're doing, but other people aren't gonna understand this. This needs to be written a little differently for the idea to really come out and come across to most people. But then I also wonder about why isn't that the case in other art forms like music and painting, right? Do you have editors there? I mean, I guess music maybe a little bit with mastering. Anyway, I went a little all over the place here, but yeah, it's a tricky thing, man. The music I was able to figure out. I think I got that musical talent, but and I have like, man, I have so many, and this is the other thing now with the TikTok stuff. The video stuff, I feel like I have great ideas for skits, for funny jokes, for whatever, but oh man, I've had these headphones in this whole time, eh? But yeah, I'm always like back and forth on questioning like how much this is helping me. It's like every time I just go in for all my best videos are all the most straightforward things where I'm like not really doing my own totally wacky, crazy things. So, but like, I want to get it in there, man. I don't know. I feel like there's a possibility here and I'm just missing it somehow. And right now I have written here, I'm looking at right now. Okay, so I wrote down like 5 little short skit comedy ideas I had for TikTok. I think they're hilarious and I really want to do these. But then this is a thing where I'm like, this is going to be like YouTube though, also, where, I don't know, it just has nothing to do with my game. You know what I mean? And it's counterproductive as much as I enjoy doing this stuff. So I did come up with this other idea of what if I focus on these kinds of humorous skit-like videos, but make it specifically always about games and game development. I made one like that already. I made a joke about how most indie developers are socialists, so I asked if I could borrow money from them. That was a short little one I made, but again, like it doesn't do that. Like it's okay, and it didn't do that well. I got like a few hundred views on TikTok. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. But whatever. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, right? I'm gonna keep experimenting, keep messing around. My what's the word I'm looking for? prolific. My prolificness, if that's a word, has been excellent. And I've really been pumping out those videos across all platforms consistently. So I think I'm just going to keep that up. And hey, I mean, those 2 shorts blew up. I got this one TikTok that blew up now. So it seems like in some vague general sense, I'm headed in the right direction. I just don't know how I got here. Literally made that video on a fucking whim, not even trying. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I just gotta keep fucking around, keep experimenting, and maybe just try to focus and think a little more carefully about how exactly I frame my videos to be more engaging, and I guess just keep at it, and I'll learn it intuitively, like anything else, I suppose. All right. I think I'm gonna call it here. Yeah. I'm gonna call it here, and the topic I've been wanting to discuss that I've been holding on to for the past couple of nights is in fact dating advice and my experiences with that. So that should be a fun and interesting and revelatory talk. Hopefully tomorrow will be uneventful enough that, and maybe I won't be up too late. Yeah, right. That I'll be in the mood for discussing that. All right, peace.